right, we've got Kyle Busch, NASCAR legend. Thanks for coming on, man.
NASCAR legend.
Yeah.
I don't think you're a legend until you retire, right?
I don't know. I mean, that's what's on my sheet.
Okay.
But it's
Just
also
read what they give you.
but it's also true. I mean, you go on Wikipedia and then you go on NASCAR. Your accomplishments and all the things you've done in NASCAR and racing is incredible.
No, I appreciate that. Everything's true on the internet, by the way.
That's very true. Where are you at now?
I'm hanging out in my shop here in Mooresville, North Carolina. So this is Kyle Busch Motorsports. This is my office. Welcome to my humble abode.
Gotcha. How long you been there?
Well, I was born in Vegas there for
Yeah.
about 17 years, and then I got out right before I could get in trouble. And so I went and spent a summer. So I had a lot of shell shock. So I went from growing up in Las Vegas to then moving to Hicksville, Ohio, which really exists. It's not far from where you probably grew up.
Yeah.
And then moved to North Carolina right after that. So I guess I've been here about 20 years.
Did you? I know your brother. Did you guys kind of grow up racing? How did you get into racing?
Yeah, so my dad was always into cars. His dad was a car guy. So Grandpa, my dad, always enjoyed cars. Kind of grew up going to the racetracks. They went down to the Daytona 500 in the 70s and things like that. So then once my dad got married and moved to Vegas, he went to the local track, decided he wanted to race a little bit, and just kind of did it at the local level, kind of amateurly, and did fairly well. I mean, he won a ton of races. He won track championships, just never took himself back east into North Carolina where the kind of the NASCAR mecca is. Yeah. And, just did it, locally, and got my brother into it, got myself into it. And we all kind of, I guess, we're pretty good at it. So we strive to go to the top, and we made it.
You guys, you started with like the go-karts and stuff like that as a kid?
I actually got a late start. So I started in Legends cars. They're like a 5/8 scale replica of a 1934 Ford Chevy sedan, coupe, whatever. And they have motorcycle engines and things like that. So they're about 1,000 pounds, but so bigger than a go-kart, but not a full-size vehicle. So I started in that at 13.
At 13 years old. Were you playing sports or anything else before that? Like what else were you up to?
Yeah, I played Little League baseball. So I did a bunch of that as a kid. I don't know, I guess I was probably 6, 7 years old all the way until I really started racing. The last year I played stick and ball sports, my grandmother taking me to the practice field, to the ball games, to the racetrack and back and forth and all that. My dad was like, look, you got to pick one. You're killing your grandmother. So, I chose the racing side of it, I guess, but, felt like I could have had either one I wanted.
That's awesome. Did you, so like your dad you had his garage and stuff. So like you were working on cars and just kind of around them, I guess, the whole time?
Yeah, exactly. Growing up in Vegas, we had a house, and out back we had a big shop, not a big shop, but like a 3-car garage that we turned into our shop. And, that's where all of our cars were. That's where we worked out of and did stuff. And so when my brother started racing, so he's 6 years older than I am. So he had a head start on me. And so I was working on all of his cars and doing all this stuff, being like a crew guy, learning how to tear apart cars, build cars, that sort of stuff during him starting. Yeah. So that kind of helped me when I started. I really had the know-it-all of everything of building the cars and that sort of stuff. So, and I feel like that's a big thing that doesn't get taught a whole lot nowadays, because nowadays you have, kids and dads and stuff, and they'll pay for a ride. Like the dad will have money and he'll just send his kid and go race with somebody else, and they won't really work on the cars or learn what it takes to build a car. So I feel like that's kind of fallen a little bit by the wayside, where what makes myself and my brother so good is the time that my dad spent with us, teaching us the car and the car dynamics and what it's all about. That's what helped us become really great race car drivers and getting to the point we did.
That's what I was going to ask you. I was going to ask you, like, is it, working on cars, like it inside and out. So, everything, you've got a feel for it. And I'm sure there's guys that, like you said, there's guys that literally just hop in a car, gas, brake, turn left and do it. They have no idea what else is going on. What percentage of drivers are like that?
I mean, that's some of the guys too at the top level. I mean, literally they just get in and they go. I mean, they can say, the car's loose, like it turns too well with the front and the back doesn't stick, or the car's too tight, like the back sticks and the front doesn't grip, So they can talk about those things of the car and the attributes of the car, but they can't necessarily speed up the process of getting the car better by telling the guys like, hey, we don't have enough front camber, or hey, this shock is bouncing too much, or I don't feel like that spring is soft enough. And so those sorts of things that you kind of learn from tinkering in the garage and understanding the vehicle dynamics of it and what makes the car work, how you build it.
Have you always been Toyota, or you've had different rides?
When I started in NASCAR, I was actually Chevrolet. So I was with Hendrick Motorsports when I started, and then I think it was 2008. I jumped over to Joe Gibbs Racing, and I've been Toyota since. Yeah,
it's a long time.
Yeah, exactly.
So you started, and then you were 16 whenever you started the truck series?
Yeah. So I started racing at 13, and then I was racing the truck series at 16. I mean, it was quick. And so I think what happened was
you just got your license at that point.
I pretty much, yeah, and I think that's why the NASCAR people, the top guys, the executives were like, wait a second, this kid just turned 16. He's only been racing for 3 years. Yeah. He's already now up here at a professional level. I think this is too young, too early. We can't have somebody here like this right now. So they changed the age rule to 18.
Really? So you changed the rule?
Yeah, once I got there, I was there at 16.
You were too good, so they had to change it.
Yeah.
So what'd you do what'd you do from 16 to 18?
So that was the time when I moved out of Vegas. I finished high school. I moved out of Vegas and I went to Hicksville, Ohio. So there was another racing series, which was called ASA, American Speed Association at the time. And they were kind of a somewhat national, but more regional touring series that ran around like Wisconsin, Ohio, Michigan, North Carolina, Virginia. I think there was one race in California and one race in Florida, So we kind of toured around and did that for a year to just kind of buy the time to, wait until I could get back into the NASCAR stuff.
I gotcha. So then as soon as you turned 18, you got back into it?
Yeah. I was able to start my first race at Charlotte Motor Speedway in the Xfinity series. So I got kicked out of the trucks. And I signed with a different team, and they didn't have a truck series team. They had an Xfinity series team. So I signed with them. My first race with them was 2003 at Charlotte. I think I just turned – my birthday's May 2nd. I think the race was like May 20th or May 18th, something like that. So right after my birthday, I was back in.
I gotcha. My birthday is April 20th. My birthday is April 29th, so we both got birthdays coming up here soon.
That is, yeah. So you're a punk tourist just like me.
Yeah, and then my middle son is May 7th. My dad's May 1st, so we're all kind of lumped in there. And then
us too. Yeah, so I'm May 2nd, and then the newborn, she's on her way. Samantha and I are expecting a baby, so she'll be here around May 10th.
Okay.
And then Brexton's May 18th, and then Samantha's June 1st.
Oh, wow. Right on there. Guys, if you struggle every year to find the perfect gift for Mother's Day, I've got you covered. Get her some Lake pajamas. They're the softest pajamas imaginable. Pajamas make the perfect gift for your mom, wife, mother of your children, or any mother figure in your life. And with gift boxes, you can add to your order. It's a turnkey gift that shows up to your door ready to go. Just go to lakepajamas.com and use code J10 for 10% off your purchase. That's lakepajamas.com and use code J10 for 10% off. Limited one-time use per customer. Did you know that browsing online using incognito mode doesn't actually protect your privacy? That's right. Without added security, you might as well give away all your private data to hackers, advertisers, your ISP, and other prying eyes. That's why I use Ipvanish Vpn to make it easy to stay truly private and secure on the internet. Ipvanish helps you safely browse the internet by encrypting 100% of your data. This means that your private details, passwords, communications, browsing history, and more will be completely shielded from falling into the wrong hands. Ipvanish makes you virtually invisible online. You can use Ipvanish on unlimited devices without sacrificing on speed. Your computers, tablets, phones, even devices like your Fire Stick when you're streaming media. Whether I'm at home or in public, I don't go online anymore without using Ipvanish. Ipvanish is offering an incredible 70% off their yearly plan for our listeners with a 30-day money-back guarantee. That's just like getting 9 months for free. Stop sharing with the world everything you stream, everything you search for, and everything you buy. Take your privacy back today with a brand rated 4.6 out of 5 on Trustpilot. Just go to ipvanish.com/Cutler and use promotional code Cutler and claim your 70% savings. That's ipvanish.com/Cutler. And then, I'm reading this. At 19 years old, you're the youngest ever pole winner in a Cup Series race. You're the youngest driver to qualify for a Chase Series Sprint Cup in '06. You were the youngest to do a lot of shit, it seems like.
Yeah, I mean, I probably would have been younger if it wasn't for getting kicked out at 16. So, once you turn 18, that's when, essentially zero starts when you're allowed to be racing in NASCAR. So, however many days, weeks, months you are older than your 18th birthday, you try to be setting a lot of records. So, there's an asterisk on who the youngest winner is, and Joey Lagano has it. Yes, he did win a race younger than me, but it was a rain-shortened race. He was leading at the time the rain came, and I flat out won mine. I went the full distance and got mine, so I still believe I'm the youngest winner.
That's definitely an asterisk. I totally agree with you on that. You're 18, 19 years old. Like, most people don't even know what the hell they're going to do at that point. What was it like being out there you're out there with some grown men out there racing?
Oh, champions of our sport, right? Like Jimmy Johnson was there, Jeff Gordon was there, Tony Stewart was there. Would they help you out, or was it? Cut through. I'm sure everyone was a little bit different, but for the most part, we're like, hey, let me help this kid out some. Yeah, no, you would definitely go to guys and ask them for advice and stuff like that, and I think they would shoot you straight to a point. I think they give you 95% of the information, but not the last 5% that can really turn you into somebody. You kind of have to figure out that last 5 on your own. But Jimmy Johnson was one of my biggest, supporters, allies, friends that I would go to. My brother was obviously there too, so I would lean on him some. And then I had teammates. Jeff Gordon was a teammate at one time. Tony Stewart was a teammate at one time, and Denny Hamlin as well. So leaning on all of those guys was a way for me to be able to learn and maybe I didn't listen as well early on, but once you get older, you kind of then realize how much they did tell you. And it's okay, it makes sense now, but definitely, picking up on that stuff. So what about the football side for you guys? Were you able to talk to some, or did they kind of blow you off?
It's kind of a mixed bag. I was really lucky when I got drafted to Denver. Shanahan was the coach, and the team was it was an older team. And Jake Plummer was there, Champ Bailey was there, John Lynch was there, Al Wilson. It was an older team. And so those guys, and Mike ran a straight ship. There was no real harassment, none of that stuff. I think we had to either sing or tell a joke. But other than that, it was, as a rookie, I don't think I could have picked a better spot, because those guys were, 10 plus years in the league. They were so professional. All they wanted to do was win. And if you helped them win ball games, they didn't care. They'll do anything under the sun for you. So I was lucky in that regard to be there for 3 years with Mike and that crew, and kind of be on an older team, because you see some of these guys out there that go to, some of these young teams, or they get drafted, 1 through 5, and then this shitty team, and they win, 2 games their first year. And it's just, that's a hard way to break into any professional sport.
Right.
So I mean,
That makes really good sense from my standpoint. I mean, I grew up a Denver fan, so I remember that time in which you came in and stuff. So it's really good info. And then I'm buddies with Olson a little bit. He still lives over here in Charlotte,
yeah, he
so him
is.
and I we talked a bit. So I know you guys had a good connection there too.
Yeah, he was just on the podcast. What 2-3 weeks ago? Awesome dude. I'm happy for him. He's got a lot of stuff going on right now. I think he's making his own podcast company with Vince Vaughn, and then he's doing the NFL broadcasting stuff. So I'm happy to hear about his son too. I mean that's a good story.
Yeah, it's a good story. They're coming around, so that's definitely really cool. And him being the father type, and the football dad now, and kids the whole game. So
So
it's just like I got my boy doing it too. So it's crazy.
how old are your kids now?
Brexton, he's 6. He'll be 7 May 18th. So
Okay.
he's still on the younger side, but he's winning. He's fired up. He wants to win them all.
Does he?
Yeah.
So what's he racing now?
So as you asked me, like, hey,
Yeah.
did you start in go-karts? Did you start young? And no, I didn't. But, Brexton did. We went to the go-kart track right through COVID. The go-karts were still kind of outside running. And so took him over there, and he looked at it, watched it a little bit, and was like, yeah, I'll give it a try. So we borrowed a guy's car, and he ran it around and had fun, liked it.
Sure.
So we got our own stuff, and we didn't let the world on fire right out of the gate. I mean, we went 3 laps down in an 8-lap heat race. It wasn't great, but he's learned so much, and he's come such a long ways. Now he's fighting for wins every single place we go to, every single time we're on the track. So it's really fun to watch.
That's awesome. That's so cool. So like, what do you guys practice during the like football? Like you go out there and practice. Like what do you guys do during the week? Work on the car, hang out.
Nothing. Yeah, we got nothing to do. It's just sitting here watching the time go by, waiting for the next thing. But
Yeah.
In all reality, we have a simulator. We can go to the simulator and run some time. So we do that sort of thing. But the sim to me is like, I don't know. It's probably like playing Madden to you guys. Like, yeah, it's kind of cool. It gives you the sense of the game, but it's not true to form of what the sport really is. So,
I gotcha.
Or what the vehicles really feel like. So to me, I've gotten out sometimes this year, and I've gone racing with my son. So like he has a junior sprint, which it's called, and then there's one up from that the adults race that's called a micro, but it's an open wheel dirt racing car, runs on dirt tracks. And so I've done some of that just to kind of keep my skills sharp and stuff like that. But, no practice. So like when we show up to a race now, we get 15, 20 minutes on the track just to kind of shake it down. We go straight into qualifying, and then the next day we race. I mean,
really?
that's literally That's it. Years ago in the heyday, you would show up on Friday, you'd have an hour practice, you'd have a qualifying, and then on Saturday, you would run another 2 50-minute practice sessions, and then you'd race on Sunday. So it's really tight and really compact now. And, honestly, because we're kind of going to a lot of the same tracks, like I have a good feel for the racetracks and that sort of stuff. So it's not like you really need to learn the track, but we have a brand new car. So learning the car is really important. But the guys that are kids or younger or haven't been around very long, even the rookies, right? They're going to some of these places, learning these tracks for the first time, but they're also with a brand new car. So it kind of brought the playing field back even a little bit versus the younger guys and the older guys.
So you basically have a brand new car every week for the most part?
No. So this year we have the NASCAR Next Gen race car. So you're only allowed to have 7 of those cars. Until you crash one, you can't get a new one. So we have to kind of cycle through those 7 cars, which right now we're short on parts. So we really only have about 4 or 5 cars. So every 4 or 5 weeks, you're cycling back through a used car. But last year with the Gen 6 car, the previous generation car, you can build as many of them things as you wanted, and you can have as many of them as you wanted. So literally you would probably, I think the average lifespan of a car was 3.2 races. You'd throw it away.
Really?
Yeah. So that was a really bad business model for the owners building new stuff all the time, new technology, just little trinkets that you would change and do differently between each build of the race car. But now all the cars are the same. You buy them from the same vendors, and so you really can't do anything to them. So you're going to start cycling through those cars more and more as we get into the season.
Okay, so that's what NASCAR did. Everyone's buying from the exact same place now.
Yeah, we all go to Walmart and get our cars.
And then the engines, I mean, that's just like you just got a Toyota engine in there, or I mean, I think people watching. I mean, there's obviously people that know a shit ton about NASCAR, but I mean, I think a lot of people just watch you guys just go around the track and they cheer for you. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that goes into this.
Oh, it's
like
a lot.
How many people are on your team?
I mean, so the 18, that's complicated too. So you have an A team, which is your road team that goes early. So you have about 8 guys there. And then you have your B team, which is the pit crew that comes in on race day only. And those are 5 more guys.
And then are there people that just work on the car that just don't go to the race, or does people overlap?
Yeah, so I work for Joe Gibbs Racing. So Joe Gibbs Racing has 4 teams. So we have myself, Denny Hamlin, Martin Truex Jr., and Christopher Bell. We all have those same A team and B team, peoples, respective to each car number. And then at the shop, we have another probably 300 employees that work there, that build cars, that work on parts and pieces, and
did you say
things
300?
like that. 300, yeah.
Goodness.
I think it's a little much, but yeah.
It seems excessive. That's a lot of people.
When we were building all of our own cars, that last generation of car where we could do anything we wanted almost, we had 450 employees. So a lot of people left because they saw the writing on the wall with this new car that their jobs were in jeopardy and the engineering wasn't going to be as intensive as it is and things like that. So they all kind of left and got out of the sport and went off to do something different. And we really didn't rehire. Like, we didn't really need to rehire those roles because you needed to downsize anyway.
It's time to finally get outdoors and entertain. I'm talking pool parties, barbecues, but if your yard looks like a plant cemetery, you're not going to enjoy it as much. And you probably don't want to spend hours in the yard trying to get it looking right. So make it easy and get your place looking like a resort with fast-growing trees. When it comes to caring for your plants, know-how matters. That's why FastGrowingTrees.com's experts curate thousands of plant varieties that will thrive in your specific climate, location, and needs. No more waiting in lines and no messy cars from hauling plants all over town. Because you order online and over the phone, and your plants are shipped to your door in 1 to 2 days. Plus, their growing and care advice is available 24/7. Even if you've never had a green thumb, they'll make you feel like you do. 1 million home gardeners have already seen what FastGrowingTrees.com can do for them. And look, I'm not spending the day in the yard and trying to keep my landscape looking fresh. That's why I love the convenience and expertise of FastGrowingTrees.com. Plus, with a 30-day Alive and Thrive guarantee, you can trust everything will be healthy for years to come. Go to FastGrowingTrees.com/Cutler right now, and you'll get 15% off your entire order. Get 15% off at FastGrowingTrees.com/Cutler, FastGrowingTrees.com/Cutler. Uncut with Jay Cutler is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Let's face it, sometimes multitasking can be a little overwhelming. Like when your favorite podcast is playing and the person next to you is talking and your car fan is blasting, all while you're trying to find the perfect parking spot. But then again, sometimes multitasking is easy, like quoting with Progressive Insurance. They do the hard work of comparing rates so you can find a great rate that works for you, even if it's not with them. Give their nifty comparison tool a try, and you might just find getting the rate and coverage you deserve is easy. All you need to do is visit Progressive's website to get a quote with all the coverages you want, like comprehensive and collision coverage or personal injury protection. Then you'll see Progressive's direct rate, and their tool will provide options from other companies all lined up and ready to compare, so it's simple to choose the rate and coverages you like. Press play on comparing auto rates. Quote at Progressive.com to join the over 27 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy. Do you like the idea of, have everyone having the same car? Because then it kind of relies more on driving and not being able to just manipulate things? Or did you like it the other way?
Yes and no. I mean, to me, right now, how I kind of see it is the drivers all want to if you had every single car the same, like the setups were the same and all that sort of stuff, then boom, it's now to the driver. But the cars are now so similar, and even with the little variables that you can have in the different setups that the engineers or the crew chiefs come up with, like we're all still really close. Like Martinsville this past weekend, everybody was running within a tenth of a second of one another. So like to try to make a pass on somebody only being a tenth of a second faster than them, a tenth of a second is literally 3.5 feet of our race car per lap different from each other.
Jeez.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like if you're side by side, crossing the start finish line, and you make one whole lap, 1/10 of a second is 3.5 feet. That's it. Like that's not even a pass. You know what I mean?
You can't get past anybody.
Right. Exactly. So it's hard, with everything being so equal. That's kind of what NASCAR wanted. They wanted it to be down to, the crew chiefs, how smart they are, the drivers, how good they are, all with the same stuff to see who the best of the best is and being able to work with what they got.
Well, it seems like they nailed that part. Do you like? You have somebody in your headset, your crew chief, I guess.
Yeah. That's right.
Do you like a lot of information, or are you just like, hey, just let me drive, just tell me what I want to know?
I'm
Go ahead.
I'm always kind of the guy that's like, give me information and let me process it. The more information, the better. I'll process it how I feel like I need to. Like if I don't get any information and I feel like I'm out there blind or I'm swimming on one leg like a duck, then we're going to be worse off.
Yeah, that makes sense. I've had some offensive coordinators that literally like they're talking in your headset until you get up to the line. It's like, please, I need less information. And then some don't say anything. It's like, all right, give me some more stuff here. I need like something.
Right. Yeah. No, that's a big. That's just a big relationship building process, right? Like, for us being with the crew chief doesn't really talk a whole lot. He does some, but the spotter's the one that really you talk to most of the time, or the spotter's talking to you most of the time because he's just talking to you about where you're at on the track, what other drivers are doing. If you hit a good line, was it faster, was it slower, that sort of stuff. Because he's up top. He has the bird's eye view, so he can really see you all the way around the racetrack and help be your eyes above, where the crew chief being down on the pit box, down on pit road, he's got all the monitors and he's got all the data and everything in front of him. So he's trying to lay out strategy and, what other cars are doing, how fast other cars are at the beginning of the run versus the end of the run. Do you have an offensive car where, you can attack early on, or do you have a defensive car where you come on later in the run and you're better then? So that's where all his information lies.
How do you know? Do you set it up for an offensive car or a defensive car? Like, how do you? Is it? Can you manipulate that, or you just however the car is running that day?
Both. So sometimes the stiffer you run the car, typically it's going to be faster earlier, but it's going to blow the tires off of it and it's going to hurt you later in the run. Where if you run the car softer springs, shocks, and stuff like that.
So why would anyone do that?
If they feel like the race is always kind of going to be short runs, or if it comes down towards the end of the race and their pit crew can keep them in contention and get them off of pit road in the top 2, 3, whatever, then they have a short run car. And literally some of these races have come down to green, white, checkered finishes. They're a faster car in that short span and they win. Versus we've always kind of strived ourselves, our company, Toyota and Joe Gibbs Racing, on being more long run driven. We want to be good for the long run. Like we'll give up a little bit on the front side, but once it gets to the middle of a run, we're coming forward. So.
And that's how you guys try to program your cars?
Typically, yeah. That's kind of how we've done things. But with this new car, we're still trying to find that ground of where to be. Like 2 races, 2 or 3, let's call it 3 races this year so far. We've actually hit it where we've been a better short run car. Like we would fire off and be great for 12, 15 laps. And then we would just literally be hanging on for the rest. And you have to go 50, 60 laps on a run. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What's your favorite track?
I'd say Bristol Motor Speedway is my favorite. Now, Bristol concrete This weekend we're going to Bristol, but it's the dirt race. Our cars aren't made for the dirt. They're way too heavy, and they just tear up the track way too easy versus some of those other cars I mentioned earlier where they only weigh 1,000 pounds. Our cars weigh 3,500 pounds.
They're 3,500 pounds.
Yeah, heavy.
How many horsepower are in these things?
Not as much as you'd think. So NASCAR restricts that. We only have about 670.
Really?
Yeah. If they were unrestricted, I bet we'd be around 900, 920.
And so what are you guys topping out at? What's your top speed then with those things?
Depends on what track you go to. Obviously, the bigger the track, the more momentum you can build and the faster you can go. So, I mean, my top speed in NASCAR, the fastest I've ever gone was 218.
218 miles an hour in that thing.
Yeah. In a 3,400 pound stock car. Yeah.
That is getting it. That's
190 through the corner.
That's scary.
Yeah, nah.
Or I mean, are you just so? I mean, are you just so blocked out? Like it's just like it is what it is at this point.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of just get used to it over time, right? Like how fast everything goes and stuff like that. I mean, I guess in that day, that particular car and track and things that we were at, the conditions, it felt fast. I mean, it wasn't
fast.
Scary. It was like this is fast. But now, with the restricted cars that we have, the 670 horsepower, you go to the tracks and it's like, oh man, like you wish you were going faster. Your top speed nowadays is only like 195.
Only 195, guys.
Only.
Uncut with Jay Cutler is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Most of you listening right now are probably multitasking. Yep, while you're listening to me talk, you're probably also driving, cleaning, exercising, or maybe even grocery shopping. But if you're not in some kind of moving vehicle, there's something else you can be doing right now. Getting an auto quote from Progressive Insurance. It's easy and you can save money by doing it right from your phone. Drivers who save by switching to Progressive save over $700 on average. And auto customers qualify for an average of 7 discounts. Discounts for having multiple vehicles on your policy, being a homeowner, and more. So just like your favorite podcast, Progressive will be with you 24/7, 365 days a year, so you're protected no matter what. Multitask right now. Quote your car insurance at Progressive.com to join the over 27 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Companies and Affiliates. National annual average insurance savings by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive between June 2020 and May 2021. Potential savings will vary. Discounts not available in all states and situations. I was watching, do you like flat out getting it, or do you like, with more, I watched the race a couple weeks ago and there was turns everywhere. I think you guys were shifting like 50 or 60 times. And what track was that?
So that was COTA. That was Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas.
Yeah. I mean, there was a wreck, literally. I mean, it was insanity. It was a fun race to watch, though. Do you like those type of things, or do you like, just going 200 miles an hour and banking?
I like it all. Years ago, we only had 2 road courses on the schedule, and I kind of treated them like an off week. It was kind of fun. Like, let's go do this. Let's try to be good at it. I was halfway good at it. I won a few races and stuff like that. And then nowadays, like last year and this year, there's 6 or 7 road course races on the calendar. So now it's kind of like, okay, you're going to get points in 6 of these events that you can't just let go by, so you have to be good at it. So it's definitely brought on a whole new discipline and skill level that you need to have for the road racing. You did some road racing, didn't you?
Me?
I've
done it a little bit.
Didn't you do that Toyota challenge at Long Beach?
Yeah.
How'd that go?
Long time ago. Went well. Are you guys, there's a stick, or is there you guys paddles? How the hell does that work?
So old generation car, it was H pattern. So 1, 2, 3, 4. New generation car, it's sequential. It's all in a row. It's 5-speed.
Just boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
Which one do you like better?
They both have their positives and their negatives. I feel like the H pattern was, a bit more fun than the sequential, but it's still early. We'll see.
Okay. Rowdy Energy.
Yeah,
You got that going on now, right? Tell me about that.
it has been. Yeah, we've got 10 flavors in the core line. We've got 4 new flavors that have come out in our Power Burn line. So, energy drinks, they've been on the market forever. There's Red
Sure.
Bull, Monster, all those guys. But Rowdy Energy now is the healthier option. It's better for you. We've got all natural ingredients. Our caffeine source is the green tea caffeine. No sucralose, no fake sugars,
Yeah.
no aspartame, none of that stuff. So, I kind of looked at the Tom Brady effect, right? Like,
Yeah.
hey,
Sure.
I'm getting older. I need to
Yep.
figure out what I'm putting in my body. Like, I can't
Yeah.
keep drinking these things all the time. Like, it's probably not going to be great for me. So, I wanted to come out with a better for you energy drink. I drink one a day every day at lunchtime in order to power me through the rest of the day. So, gives me what I need. And, it's coming out on the shelves. We're in 7-Elevens, we're in Speedways. It's been going really well the last 2 years. So, I mean, really, we're very young. We're very new. If you
Yeah.
look at Red Bull, they're 25 years old. Monster, I think, is 20 years old. Bang, and some of those guys are like 12 or 13 years old. So we're very new, very young to the market, but still trying to showcase, our ingredients, our label, our packaging, things like that to the consumer to tell them like, hey, there's a healthier, better for you option out there. Choose it. Let's
Sure.
get rowdy.
I love it. I love it. Do you? You want to race forever, or do you and your wife have a cap on this, or?
I honestly, I kind of think it's going to depend on what my son does, what Brexton does. Like he's 6, almost 7. So in 9 more years, he'll be eligible to run in the truck series. You can now run the truck series again at 16. They changed the age rule again. So, I might want to race with him at that point. So that'll kind of be like my retirement tour is I'll quit racing the big time, the Cup series. I'll go back to the truck series and just kind of run a couple years with my son.
Yep.
And then, when he kind of ventures off and moves up, I think I'll move out and I'll be done.
I love that plan. That's awesome. All right, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Everyone check out, KyleBusch.com, number 18 M&M Toyota car, Rowdy Energy. You guys are coming to Nashville soon too.
We will be there.
June.
Yeah. I think it's,
In June.
yeah, you're right.
Yep.
We'll be there. You coming?
Yeah, I am coming. Yep, we're
right.
we're gonna do it. We're doing an event. I think Thursday for NASCAR, and then I'll definitely be at the race.
All right. Sounds cool, man. Appreciate that. Look forward to seeing you.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on. Everyone, check out Kyle Busch. Go get merch, get the energy drink, get all the stuff. And
That's right.
Good luck out there, man. And tell your son good luck
I
too.
appreciate it. I will. Thank you. Yeah, we're looking forward to the year, and we're gonna tear it up. So let's keep going.
I love it. Awesome. Thank you.
All right, man. See ya.
Cool.